is not one single, rule that we go by. Or let me ask you this in return. How many of us have grown up with some kind of rules our parents have put on us, our societies have put on us, that is the way to live forward? How many of us have had that? How many of us have heard it? Right? All of us have heard some rule or the other. ऐसे ही करना है, ऐसे ही होगा. Success is like this only. And eventually, married life is like this only. Happiness is going to be like this only. And eventually, we start believing and we start applying it and implementing it on a daily basis. But there is one reality that all of us need to recognize. And that reality is very simple. That reality is that you can have a good life based on your values, based on your perceptions, based on what is right for you. We take forward generations of rules, generations of thoughts, generations of beliefs and values, because it is a generational thing. Because they start guilting, the family starts guilting, the family starts giving any kind of negative attachment if you do not follow a rule. So it's like, when they are telling you to follow a rule, it's almost like they're asking you to go in one line. So, and in school, when you had it, कि एक लाइन में सारे बच्चे खड़े होंगे बस की तरफ जाने के लिए, and everyone will walk in a line, everyone is going to stand in the line, height wise or class wise or whatever. Now, when you are going towards your bus, that's all the parents and the entire family is doing. They only want you to be in that line. That's it. To just follow that line, to just follow it, that is the only way that you will be able to reach your bus. But there are children who will skip. There are kids who will get out. There are kids who will rush. There are kids who will run. Do they not reach the bus? They do. What about those kids who leave late from the building? When they leave the building late and they are rushing towards the bus, do they not catch the bus? Everyone catches the bus. But unfortunately, we take on generations of thoughts and values, thinking that is the only way. So today's topic is talking about 8 rules for living a good life. Now, the concept of good life is very subjective. Everyone can have a good life based on them, right? The concept of what is good is also based on you. Who are you? So today, let me just share my screen. I want to talk about, so this is just one of the thoughts that someone has penned down, the 8 rules of life, which makes sense. And a lot of us might already be doing it. So if you're already doing all 8 of them, kudos to you. You're already living a very sensible and a very happy life. I don't want anyone to feel that there needs to be more. Sometimes we get so tied up with just dreams. We get tied up with people running towards their purpose that we forget that the kind of life we're already living is actually quite good enough. So let me share my screen and let's begin. Can you all see my screen? Yes. Right? Can you see all 8 rules for a good life? This was a very quick presentation I made simply because I don't want mornings to be extremely heavy. Sometimes what happens is, as coach, I find it extremely heavy. As someone who's a participant can also find it very heavy. So I wanted this to be like a breezy topic. So the first rule that I can give for a good life is to choose to grow personally. And you'll notice the word is the choice. The word is a choice that is given to you as a person. It's extremely simple when you talk about growing personally, and growing personally can go in so many different dimensions. What is personal growth, right? And the funny thing is, I don't have to mention about personal growth so much because Mavir is already doing a good job in terms of making sure you get personal growth or growth from different angles. You get emotional growth, you get spiritual growth, you get mental growth. All of these factors are already being taken care of. But your choice of coming towards Maven, or your choice of reaching out and doing another course, your choice of joining another, platform, your choice of reading a beautiful book, all of those are a choice that you make where you grow. There is some growth, there is some learning, there is some implementation where you keep taking action. Because I'll tell you this, you can constantly read self-help books. And this is something that one of my mentors talks about, and I love it. He's like, if you don't take any action on self-help books, they are not self-help, they are shelf-help. They help your shelf, your bookshelf, look extremely attractive, where you tell people that, look, these are the kind of books I've read. When I heard that statement, I was just like, oh my God. I know people in my family who read tons of books on personal growth, on finance, on emotional intelligence, on interpersonal skills. Yet the implementation is very little. And I'll also talk about the reason why. So when they chose to grow personally through a book, but it stopped. Just reading a book does not help you grow unless you implement it. Without action, there is absolutely no implementation. So I want you to actually understand, we're all doing our job in terms of doing a job, taking care of our family, saving our money. We're all doing that. But there are other aspects to our life which actually improve our personality, as our perspectives, that improve our attitude, that improve our mindset. Like today is one of those sessions that can improve your mindset, that can improve your approach, that can improve all the aspects of who you are. And this is very simple, right? Choosing to grow personally is a very simple concept. Concept is a very simple concept, but implementation gets difficult. And it gets difficult when people get confused or they get too attached to their own personality. So what do? They limit their personality and their growth to say, I am like this only. मेरी personality है ये. मैं rude ही हूँ. मैं impatient ही हूँ. And you get used to those titles that were given to you, and you start accepting it, and you start limiting yourself that is who I am. That's like a permanent person. So you make yourself a semi-permanent person throughout the rest of your life and say, I'm not going to change. Now, let me ask you this. If you were not going to change, then maybe 10 years ago, you wouldn't have bought a great phone. If you were not going to change, then maybe 10 years ago, you wouldn't have figured out how to run a WhatsApp. You wouldn't know how to send an email attachment. You wouldn't know how to maybe try a new cuisine. See, change is happening every single day. We're just not calling it change. We're just saying mood hai. The change in perspective, the change for you to choose something is a change, is a choice, is something that you're doing consciously. So this conceptually is a simple topic, but it's difficult. So pick up any aspect of your life that you want to grow, and you can do it very simply. There are a lot of us out here, and I'm sure the crowd that Magic Maven has, a lot of you are already waking up early. A lot of you are already doing meditations. A lot of you are already taking care of your spiritual side, your mental side, your emotional side. Fantastic. But to grow personally every single day in one aspect is one of the rules that you should live by. Why? Because it gives you a different perspective. It breaks your norms. It challenges a thought that you've grown up with. And if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't enter your thought. Agreed? Everyone agrees on this, right? जब तक वो challenge नहीं होता, तब तक कोई सोचता ही नहीं है इसके बारे में. Why do you think we are only looking at the news channels and we're trying to understand what they're doing? The questions they're constantly asking is a way to challenge the mindset. It's trying to challenge a question. It's trying to challenge the thought behind the action. If you don't challenge it, it doesn't improve, it doesn't grow, right? So choosing to grow personally is my first rule. My second rule is choose to always treat others right. What does this mean? We live in a day and age of people who are extremely negative, who are extremely rude. They have no sense of courtesy. They have no sense of etiquette. They have no sense of even being polite and kind. People are not even kind to random people. सब्जी वाले, normal लोग, उनके साथ kind नहीं होते लोग. We live in an age of that, unfortunately. Family is a separate thing, but when you know people who are constantly being rude or who are constantly being judgmental or who are constantly being unkind and who are having an attitude that they are holier than thou, what happens? The choice always comes to you. I know people when I'm traveling in the, like, when I'm traveling domestic flights, whenever I go in for my security check-in, I'm usually traveling with my sister because we travel to Bangalore a lot. So every time, like me and my sister, we're getting our security check-ins, we usually have this tendency to say, good morning, very basic, right? Morning, how are you? Thank you. Something as basic as that. That's a choice. Somewhere it's also inbuilt in us, but it's a choice to say it to people when they're doing their jobs for 12 hours, yeah, at the airport. They come across so many people and they're all weird. Not everyone is nice. Everyone agrees. So when I say something nice and then my sister says something nice, that woman automatically, आप दोनों sisters हो ना, आप दोनों बहनें हो ना, because we are the only two people who are being nice to her. Only two people. We've had this not once, a million times. People watch out because we are being nice, be it auto guys, be it doodh wale. And I'm not saying we go overboard. We're just being decent. We're just being courteous. We are treating others right. Why? Now, all of this comes down to the concepts that we believe in. All of this comes down to the values that we are brought up with. All of this comes somewhere down to who we are as a person, as a value. Somewhere in the spiritual growth or in the spiritual journey, we always want to be treated in the right manner. So spiritually also we want to be treated. So somewhere we're constantly thinking doing good to others will eventually reward us. So it becomes a choice. So choosing to always treat others right is another rule. Because no matter what, there is no way, if you've lashed out to someone, that you can sleep peacefully at night if you have a very clear conscience. Right? No matter what. So when they cheat, you play the rules. When they lie, you tell the truth. Sometimes you have to know that just being right is something that is good for your conscience, is something that is going to reward you, is something that shows your values, dictates your values in some form or the other. Because that choice always comes down to, it cannot be an eye for an eye. The eye for an eye concept only works with the concept of war, only works with the concept of destruction. And let me tell you this, you will always get good or bad, always. God will give you always good or bad based on your karmic actions. Humans are not doing good and bad to you. God is providing your good and bad. It's based out of your karmic actions. So you need to choose to always do right. Because let me tell you this, you might feel that it's not worth it at that point. But let me tell you this, the reward is going to come later. So choosing to always treat others right is my second rule. And it's a very simple and a very basic rule. And this applies to everyone, right? My third rule is to choose to break a bad habit. And that bad habit can be anything. Anything. Can you see, this is like my third rule. All of these come with choices. All of these come with the word choice. All of them. It's up to you. It's up to you to understand what you want to do. It's up to you. If you want to live a good life, if you want to live a great life, how do you do it? So my third tip, or the third rule, is choose to break a bad habit. Now, what can be a bad habit? What can be a bad habit? You understand what is a bad habit, right? You need to understand your habits first. The awareness of just understanding your habits and then categorizing them will help you then choose which one you want to break. And let me tell you, habits are difficult to break and difficult to make. Both. They're difficult to break and they're difficult to make. We need to be very, very, very careful in getting the right help with breaking a bad habit, because our mind is very, very smart. Very smart. It's a beautiful machine. It will make us go back into our comfort zones. It knows we don't like it. It's extremely sensitive to the fact that there is a change and it doesn't like it. So it will manipulate you to go back to your comfort zone. But choosing to break that bad habit, choosing to tackling and understanding the awareness, all comes from you. You need to recognize and you need to get the right help. And that help and that habit could be as basic as just something that you're doing in a routine. Anything that you're doing in a routine. It could be with your finances. It could be with your default setting of how you talk. It could be just the fact that you abuse a lot. It could be just the fact that you have a habit of smoking every single time you get stressed. It could be a habit of actually drinking 15 cups of chai. Something. All right. So choosing to break a bad habit, and you know what? You can always choose to break a bad habit depending on, one, when you figure out your awareness, how many bad habits you want to break over a certain period of time. I can't tell you to break 20 bad habits in like 1 year. Doesn't work that way. Spread it out. So once you get your awareness, after your awareness, recognize which habits that you would like to break, get the help, and then spread it out. When would you like to achieve that you want to break one habit? Once you've done with one, then move on to the other one. Don't overwhelm yourself. These things always overwhelm. Always. Habits are something because we're so used to it. Breaking them feels like, oh, injustice. Oh, kya kar diya humne? Acha nahi lag raha. Because nobody wants to feel, that change. So breaking a bad habit is extremely important when you want to move forward in life and lead a good life. Because if you want to lead a good life, there needs to be something that you have to let go of. And it could be as small as just habits to begin with. I'm not telling you to leave people. I'm not telling you to leave communities. I'm not telling you to ignore family. Nothing like that. Start breaking your own habits. It will start improving your life tremendously. Let's move on to rule number 4. Choose to work smarter. Why? Our time management has gone off the chart because of COVID. How many of us agree? COVID has been very, very tough on us when it comes to working, when it comes to having a routine, when it comes to having, a set pattern of the day of who's going to work, what time they're going to leave, and having that routine set for you. All of that has just gone picture. Our entire balance has gone off. Our own workings with our family has gone off. It has become chaotic because there is no control. There is no understanding. Choosing to work smarter is very important because we need to recognize overworking us and ourselves doesn't serve us anything. Overworking doesn't give you any result. Making sure that we have time for all the aspects of our life and cramming them up in a time schedule and a time capsule of like 24 hours, and understanding how much time we're going to be eating, how much time we're going to be sleeping, how much time we're going to be cooking. Eating तो चलो 15 मिनट में हो जाता है, कुकिंग में टाइम लगता है. एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि मैंने सारे एस्पेक्ट्स उस 24 आवर्स में ठूसने होते हैं. When you start doing all of that ना, you get overworked, you get overburnt out, and you get exhausted, and it becomes chaotic. कुछ भी नहीं हो पाता ढंग से. फिर what do? You let go. You don't make it smarter. You don't recognize what can be your daily tasks. You don't understand what can be your weekly task. You don't understand what can be your monthly task. And you don't understand what can be your bi-monthly task. Eventually, what do? You are not able to fulfill anything beyond maybe one task. In your daily, with that also you struggle. And let me tell you this, because of COVID, even before COVID, people were already struggling with their work-life balance. They were already struggling with the concept of making sure that they can make something work where it comes to work and life and their own rest and their own physical activity. जो लोग constantly ऑफिस में काम कर रहे हैं, वो शायद जिम के लिए नहीं टाइम निकाल पा रहे. फिर इवेंचुअली क्या होता है, एक हफ्ता छूटा, दूसरा हफ्ता छूटा, तीसरा हफ्ता छूटा, एक महीने के बाद they don't have the stamina to go back. They've overworked and they're constantly overworking. They don't know how to set boundaries with their boss and say, "Ki, I'm not going to work after 9." And the irritating part is work from home has no boundaries because we are not putting any boundaries. I know friends who are working more than 12 hours. More than 12 hours. And because it was COVID, we were constantly wishing everyone on video chat like this. Happy birthday, singing over here. They're still not free. At 12 o'clock, we're calling up and they were like eating dinner at 12 o'clock because they just got free at 11:30. This is my generation I'm talking about. We're also working as hard, but there is no boundary. Why? Because the commitments are higher. Because everyone is running towards having a job. Because of COVID, it was such a difficult time. And eventually what happens? What are we doing? We're overworking. Eventually क्या होता है? थक जाते हैं, कुछ नहीं करने का मन करता. फिर ना किसी को मिलेंगे, ना कुछ और बातें करेंगे, ना कोई अपने में improvement लाएंगे, nothing. We just become puppets eventually. And that is where the decline starts happening. फिर क्या होगा? Then it will start affecting emotionally. Then we'll get into depression, then we'll overwork ourselves. Health पे आ जाएगा, सब कुछ होगा. How many of us know? There was a concept, 9 to 5. The concept was 9 to 5. वापस आओ. शाम के टाइम पे वापस आओ. 6 बजे तक वापस आओ. So that you have the entire night, the entire evening free to do whatever you want. You have time to go to a gym. You have time to make food for yourself. You have time to spend with your family. You have time to even watch a movie. आज की डेट में हम क्या कर रहे हैं? हम 11:30 बजे रात को फ्री होते हैं अपने काम से, 12 बजे तक खाना खाते हैं, उसके बाद हम 3 बजे तक नेटफ्लिक्स देखते हैं, 4 बजे तक नेटफ्लिक्स देखते हैं, सुबह उठ के फिर लॉग इन करते हैं. You think that's healthy? No. Do you think that's going to catch up? Of course. It's just a matter of time. But it's a choice. Again, it's a choice. It's rule number 4. It's a choice to work smarter. We've done 4 rules up until now. Let's go forward. I'm gonna extend my time slightly because it's already 8:30. I'm gonna extend it slightly by a couple of minutes. Hopefully, I should get over by 8:45, 8:50. So please bear with me. All right, moving on to rule number 5. Choose to see your work as a way to help others. The concept of understanding success, not everyone knows this. Success is based out of the actions that we're putting in and the results that we are getting. The results that we are achieving is by making sure that the other person is getting where they want to be. It could be a boss. It could be a company. It could be coaching. It could be training. It could be teaching. It could be anything. The other person needs to get that role, needs to reach that goal, needs to reach that specific result. As you keep going over and beyond your zone to help others and start making a difference, you create the results. Once you practice creating the results over and over again, you become successful. Once you become successful, money will flow in. You see, we are always understanding that when we get money, we are successful. But it is the opposite. You first need to be successful. Money will come. And how does this go? Let me tell you this. If you are an employee who is extremely good with your interpersonal skills, and you are able to help out your client achieve the goals that they want to achieve, or help the company achieve a certain number of target, let me tell you this, when you start repeating that target every month, are you not telling me that you will not become the employee of the month? Are you trying to tell me that you will not be successful? Are you trying to tell me that there will not be a favoritism in the office that you have now achieved? Now you are the sane or the intelligent or the most hardworking person? Of course you will be. Eventually, what's going to happen? The raise and the promotions are going to go to you first. What have you done? You have helped someone else achieve a certain goal. Everything else follows. And this is also one of the reasons why we as trainers are constantly trying to make sure you get your result as a trainer. You get your result as someone who's taking my coaching. You get the result, because if you don't get your result, I will not get paid. It is not a matter of saying that you have to first pay me, then I will show you the result, and then you tell me if I am a success or not. I have to keep repeating my success over and over again, the results over and over again, so that I can start telling people that this has been a success story. We need to keep rinsing and repeating our cycles of goodness, of helping someone achieve their goals. Everything else follows. Everything else follows. Trust me. So once you start recognizing that you want to help others and not for the money, it will come to you. And I've noticed this personally. I have gone out of my way to make sure that my buyer was happy. I have gone out of my way to make sure that the communication I was having with my manager and with my buyer, my shipments were going on time. I made all that effort. I made a lot of effort. In all the people who were joinees around my time, all of them got lesser promotional incentive. All of them got a lesser incentive than me. I actually by that time didn't even know that there was an appraisal time or there was an incentive time or anything like that, because it was the first time I was working in a bigger organization, which had all these departments set up. So the first time when I was working with them, I basically just went out of my way to make sure that my job was good, to make sure that my buyer was happy, to make sure that my boss was happy, to make sure that everything was smooth sailing. I'm a hardworking person. Eventually what happened? Eventually this only happened. Appraisal आया, मेरे को तो पता भी नहीं था appraisal था, मेरे को ज़्यादा मिले. I went and hugged my manager. I said, thank you. He said, no, I trust you. Can you believe it? Till today, I have a fantastic relationship with that manager. I've left that company. He's also left that company. Every time he has a new business venture, he calls me. I'm one of the best employees he calls. Every year, we stay in touch. Every year, we get in touch. Every time we go out for coffee and we understand what's happening in the market. How can we help each other? Look, every employer needs a good employee. Simple. Every family member needs a good leader. Simple. You just need to keep repeating your results with helping people. Eventually, what's going to happen, if you're someone who is sitting at dadi or a dada or a grandparent position, and if you're someone who has all the answers to life, and if you're someone who can help someone, आपको नहीं लगता कि आपके बच्चे आएंगे, आपके ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रन आएंगे आपके पास एक बार दो बार, उसके बाद क्या होगा, अपने दोस्तों को लाएंगे. See, you then become a success, you then become a hit story, you then become someone that they're going to go to. It's the same thing. Choose to see your work as a way to help others. And it could be just, I'm talking about the grandparents' perspective, simply as an example to say, it's not a part of money. It's just in the form of seva. It's just in the form of helping the other person. Right? So that's my 5th rule for living a good life. My 6th rule is choose to become balanced spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Our work consumes all of us for how many hours a day? People who are working get consumed for 8, 9, 10, 12 hours. The mind gets, right? The mind is consumed for 10 hours with a boss, with a company, with a target, with a, an Excel sheet, with targets that they want to achieve there, with the goals that they've set, the numbers that they have to reach. March closing ho rahi hai. Everybody is going nuts with their numbers, right? What happens when you're sitting 10 hours in a very uncomfortable posture? Will you not get aches and pains? Of course hoga. Sabko hota hai. Everyone has it. I have it. And especially people who are working from home, they'll all have it. Because kahin na kahin desks are bad, somewhere, the lighting is bad, somewhere the step stool is not there, somewhere, the posture is wrong with comparison to the chair, the angle is wrong, jagah nahi hai, bahut sari files khuli hai, so many things. Were we prepared to create an office at home? No. We always wanted our office outside the house. Now, when you get consumed for 10 hours with your mind and then get consumed physically, where you have absolutely no change of getting up every 1 hour and taking a walk, with no change of you going out and doing some physical exercise, you get emotionally drained also, because you are dealing with some toxic people in the office. Eventually what happens? You get drained even more because you're not able to catch up to the manipulations. You're not able to deal with the toxicity of the other person because you have a good heart. And you are someone who doesn't even know how to meditate. Sone pe suhaga. What do you think this kind of person is going to live in terms of the balanced life? How do you think they're going to live it? Some people work on their spiritual growth every single morning. Some people work on their spiritual growth at any time of the day. There is no set time. Yes, they specifically mention that Brahma Muhurta time is a fantastic time. But actually, you can do it anytime. Anytime in the day. The point is choosing to do it. Choosing to do it. If you want to keep your balance when you know you are getting exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally, all the manipulations, how do you think you're going to tackle it if you are not spiritually settled down? Is there a solution? The solution is simple. It's simple. You need to give as much importance to your physical health. You need to give as much importance to your emotional health. You need to hang around with good friends who pump you up, who make you feel good. If they make you feel drab, they're not your good friends. Change your circle. Nothing is permanent in life. If it doesn't serve you, kindly move on. Let me tell you this. I have had, not I, but I'll tell you, if you constantly work with people who you are constantly attaching yourself to, that they are your best friends and they are always going to be there, but they are just not helping you feel great, you need to move on, find someone better. Simple. Find someone better. You need to make sure you invest in a coach who can help you do meditations, who can help you with spiritually growing, who can help you with any form of spiritual practice that you can take on, which is simple. Simple breathing you can do. Breathing exercises शुरू कर लो, वहीं से शुरू कर सकते हो. It's a start. You see, there is no end for giving advice. There is no end to the solutions people are giving to you. There is no end. If I am giving you 8, there will be someone who will give you 50 tomorrow. Sunday you come, there will be someone who will give you 20 on Sunday. It only begins when you take charge of something. Simple. Simple. You need to take charge of your life. You want to live a good life. You need to recognize how to balance. And it's a matter of balancing. When I was telling you ना, सब कुछ उसमें 24 hours में जब डालना होता है ना, वो यही है. जिम भी जाना है, इमोशनली भी अपने आप को देखना है, स्पिरिचुअली भी देखना है, बैलेंस भी देखना है. लेट मी टेल यू दिस, आई एम एक्चुअली वर्किंग ऑन अ वर्कबुक. If I do come out and if it does become a success, I will definitely want to pitch it to Magic Maven to get them to understand what do they need to do on a daily basis. You need to check with yourself on a daily basis. How are you doing emotionally? Because if you're irritated from a fight that happened last night and you're not able to function today, I can't expect you to give your 100%. Simple. So this is my 6th. Choose to become balanced spiritually, emotionally, and physically. 7th, second last. Choose to sow more than you reap. Everyone wants results. This is the time where we always want to have quick gratification. हमें चाहिए 2-minute instant noodles, 2-minute instant pasta, 2 मिनट में खाना, आधे घंटे में डिलीवरी पिज्जा की, 45 minutes में खाने की डिलीवरी. We want all of that. The timelines that we are giving to ourselves is horrible. Horrible. What are we doing? We want to first take. We are constantly taking. We're constantly taking. What does taking mean? एक पेड़ के पास जाओ और आप पेड़ के फल उतार के बस लेके आ रहे हो, बस. That's all you're doing. जब पेड़ गंजा हो जाएगा, फिर क्या करोगे? फिर रोगे, फिर कोसोगे. Sow another seed. If you want to reap so much, if you want to take so much, first you need to sow. If you want to take advantage of the benefits, first you need to work hard. If you want a good retirement, you need to work hard today. If you want to have money that is in your bank account, which is giving you a fantastic return, you need to earn that kind of money in today's day and age. Manage it well so that it gives you that kind. If you want to have good health at 70, you want to have a good health today. Start taking care of your health today. You need to do things today before you look at tomorrow. Tomorrow is never coming. कभी नहीं आता, कल कभी नहीं आता. आज है, आज काम करो. Today you need to give. Be a giver. Do the right thing. Be kind. Tomorrow it will reward. And it will reward. Let me tell you this. There is always reward because all your good deeds are being written. All the good actions are being taken notice. Give today. You have absolutely no idea वो वापस कैसे आता है. No idea, but आता है. So be aware of the fact that that is the universal law. And it doesn't change for you and me. It is same. If it works for me, it works for you. And there will be thousands who will tell you that this is a universal law. First, you need to sow. First, today, be a giver. Choose to be a giver today. Give to someone. Give anything. Give your time, give your money, give your love, give anything. Give something that is precious to you. Don't give materialistic things. That has no value. No value. आप अपने कपड़े अगर गुरुद्वारे में देते हो या वो डोनेट करते हो चैरिटी में, वो 10 रुपए में वो बेचते हैं, बिकॉज फ्री की उनको भी पता है किसी को कीमत नहीं है. They still tear it and abuse those clothes or give it forward. Even for 10 rupees, they give it forward. ये हाल है आज की डेट में. So give something that is precious to you, because it will reward you. And my last is, you need to choose to get home for dinner more often. Simply put, is making sure that your relationships can thrive. Any man, I heard someone say this, any man can be successful alone, individually, but a great man also has a great relationships with a family beside them. You see, every single one of us wants to leave behind a legacy. Every single one of us wants to create and build an empire where we can start telling our next generation sensible, valuable things, right? If you do not nurture your relationships, this generation is not going to be waiting. The older generation of our parents were given this concept to say there is only a marriage. A few of them managed to get out of those relationships. They were a handful compared to the rest of the entire generation. Our generation is completely different. The next generation is going to be even worse. Building a relationship is extremely important. And it is extremely important because they are the ones who are going to be supporting you. And let me tell you this, they might not be supporting you constantly by standing next to you and just screaming and shouting and celebrating. They are supporting you every single day, where they are providing you the food quietly. They are giving you everything on time. They're making sure your routine is set. Everyone knows Barack Obama over here. Everyone knows. The amount he's invested in his relationship, it shows. And you see the value with Michelle Obama. You see the value with their children. You see the value that they are such a tight-knit family, that their concepts, their mindset, their attitude is so different. They've invested in each other so much. They know each other so well. So building a relationship serves you back. Nobody's telling you to leave your parents. Nobody's telling you to live alone. You can do it. I'm not saying you can't do it. You can do it. But everyone needs to make sure that their relationships are also being nurtured. If you don't nurture your relationships, walking alone gets extremely tough. Extremely tough. कर सकते हो, great. लेकिन tough है. And not everyone is made for that toughness. Let me tell you this. Not everyone is made for that toughness. So if you want to have a good life, you need to have people, because I know enough people in this world who don't have families and who don't have friends. They are those, unfortunately, those lost, clueless, and extremely vulnerable people who then get into bad company and do stupid things. If you build and nurture relationships, you can at least be at peace that there's someone who takes care of you, there's someone who looks after you, there's someone who loves you, and there's someone who constantly makes sure that you're on the right path, that you don't feel lost. And that sense of loss is one of the hardest things that a human being has to deal with, because we as humans were never born to be alone. We were always born to be part of societies. Always born to be part of societies, communities, clubs, partnerships, kuch bhi keh lo. We were always made in a way that we would have a community around us. Always. So always nurture your relationship at home. So that is my session for you today. I hope that was fun. I am going to stop sharing. Let me know if this made sense to you, and let me know if this was helpful.